Alright, good evening ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Compound Interesting. In today's video I want to discuss Render token, which is a token that had a full video breakdown by none other than InvestAnswers. So James at InvestAnswers, one of the GOAT investors on YouTube in my opinion, so big shout out. But when I see someone as smart and intelligent as James investing or being interested in a particular cryptocurrency, I'm going to go ahead and do my own research on that coin. So that's exactly what I've done. So I'll share my research with you today, give you my own opinion on whether or not I'm going to be buying this coin for myself. Before we dive into Render in particular, I want to give my thought process on why I'm getting interested in altcoins at this particular moment in time. So firstly, in the last cycle, we had this particular rotation. So the first thing to pop off was like DeFi summer. So this was 2020 summer. DeFi, like the smart money or the crypto nerds, those kind of coins popped off really hard first. Chainlink and Aave are a couple of examples that went nuts, and Curve and YFI, and then it went Bitcoin, and then it went like meme coins, other altcoins went crazy, and finally the dumb money with the altcoins and the meme coins and NFTs. Yeah, so that's what the cycle went like last time. So I'm kind of looking for the smart coins, potentially the DeFi kind of coins for the next cycle, as I think they might move first. And as we know, like, this is my thought process and when the next cycle is going to happen. I'm sure most people agree with this, but the next Bitcoin halving is in April 2024. Currently we're July 2023, and in the last few cycles the real bull run, the real cycle for Bitcoin kicked off about six months for the first one, and then 3 months after the Bitcoin halving. So personally I think it's going to be front ran even more. So 2 cycles ago it took 6 months after the halving to kick off, and then the last cycle it was 3 months after the halving. So I think for this cycle, probably even just 1 month after the halving, the bull run might start, which means we only have like a year or so to gather coins at these cheap prices, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and whatever other altcoins you like. So that's why I'm kind of these are the times where you can really make a lot of money, make massive returns in the next bull runs. These are the times you need to be studying, you need to be researching and paying attention to the markets. And usually it's the shiny new coins that tend to perform the best in the next cycle. So with all that said, let's dive into Render token in particular. So what the hell is Render? Essentially it's for rendering 3D graphics. So that's where the name comes from, but in a decentralized manner. So anyone can like sell their extra compute power on the Render network. So if I have like a load of computers and some of them aren't being used at the moment, I'm not rendering any graphics or anything, I can go onto the Render network and sell it for Render tokens, and vice versa. If anyone needs extra rendering power to create 3D graphics or do any film, video, animation, anything like that, metaverse kind of stuff, which is only going to continue to grow, then I can use the Render network and pay in Render coins to actually get that computing power. And Render has been pumping a lot quite recently, and I think it's because of the whole AI narrative that happened recently, and Render uses AI to distribute the computing power in the most effective manner. So because it uses these techniques, it's much cheaper for someone who wants to render some 3D graphics to use the Render network than to do it themselves. Some other interesting points about Render is that their founder and CEO, Jules Arbach, created the first 3D web game platform, and it was a serious success. So a very strong founder, which is 100% necessary for any project that you're potentially going to invest into. So that's one good tick on Render's list. The other thing is that they moved from Matic, so they were actually on Matic, and they decided to move to Solana because it's faster and cheaper. So just another interesting point there, and it's another positive point for Solana more so than for Render. But yeah, Solana is definitely a coin I'm getting very, very interested in right now for the next cycle. Another bullish point about Render is they have a very strong community. So for any coin to pump a lot, a strong community is not 100% necessary, but it is a good thing to have. So they have a very strong community, very vocal community. If you're a community member, hit me up in the comments there, but I'm sure there's a few community members of the Render token in the comments, and they're a very strong community, which is good. Apparently they also have a partnership with Apple. So they have some sort of partnership with Apple where potentially you'll be able to use the extra compute on your mobile or on your iPhone to sell to the Render network. Now, I've heard of these kind of partnerships before, and in my experience, it almost always means fuck all, to be honest. Like these kind of partnerships with Google, these kind of partnerships with Apple, they never really, well, in my experience from what I've seen, they never really materialized too much. So I wouldn't put too much weight into that particular point. Okay, so let's put it on the line. Am I going to be buying Render? So first, let's have a look at the market cap. The market cap is $700 million. So definitely not a small coin at this point. It's already pumped quite a lot because of the whole AI narrative that I mentioned. But let's have a look at the price chart for Render over the last couple of years. So you can see it reached an all-time high of $8, and right now it's sitting just over $2. So you're thinking, okay, if it got back to all-time high, that would be a nice 4x. But in reality, here's the market cap. And we can see it actually almost got to the same market cap as it reached in the peak of 2021. So it's already quite high in market cap terms. It's already almost reached the same market cap it did in the 2020 absolute mania phase. And why is the price and the market cap, why are they completely different? It's obviously because of the inflation. So there's quite a huge percentage of inflation for Render. So that's something that I definitely don't like to see. And as you can see, even though the market cap's gone up significantly, the price hasn't performed as well as the market cap. So what do I think is the maximum upside for this token in the next bull run? I don't think it's absolutely enormous. When I'm investing into some sort of cryptocurrency in the bear market, I'm looking for like at least 50x upside potential. Like it doesn't have to go up 50x, but I want that kind of potential, maybe even 100x potential depending on the market cap. And this token at $700 million market cap, I think like realistically the absolute max it could do is a 20x, but more likely like a 10x if everything goes well. And I also think Ethereum could do a 20x from here in the next cycle, and probably more like a 10x. So why would I take the extra risk in buying Render at this price rather than just buying Ethereum? So for me, I'm not going to be buying Render at these prices unless the token price drops significantly or Render change their strategy and instead of rendering 3D graphics, provide compute power for AI or just compute power in general, where there's some sort of better narrative than 3D graphics. So I'm not going to just leave you hanging like that. I'm going to potentially give you a different alternative to Render that might be a more interesting investment that doesn't have such a high market cap, and it's a very similar coin but doesn't provide 3D rendering, rather it provides data storage. So you've probably heard of Filecoin, and Filecoin has a market cap of $1.7 billion and a fully diluted valuation of $9 billion. But this isn't the coin I'm interested in. The coin I'm more interested in is Arweave. And the reason I'm interested more in data storage than 3D graphics, I think this is a less risky bet. Like 3D graphics could get, 3D graphic rendering, like will people need that as much in the future? Like it's uncertain with like the advent of Midjourney and stuff. Maybe 3D graphics could be made by AIs rather than humans in the future, whereas data storage, like people are always going to need data storage, and the requirements for data storage is only going to grow, and people are actually going to want a data storage place where it can't be censored, it won't be lost in the next 10 years, and it's going to be there permanently forever. And that's what Arweave offers. So when you put a piece of data onto Arweave, it's going to be there forever. So because Arweave is decentralized, it's going to be censorship resistant, which aligns well with the whole freedom of speech thing that's been kicking off over the last few years as well. So this is the price at the moment to store 500 gigabytes on Arweave forever, $1,000. So that seems like quite a lot, and it is quite a lot, but I guess it's going to be stored there forever, unlike with other cloud providers like Amazon Cloud, Amazon Web Services, where it's just going to be there as long as you're paying the subscription. And there's a higher chance with a centralized system that, there could be some hack, there could be some data breach, there could be the provider could go down for a period of time. But in Arweave, that's the idea, is that that can't happen. So if you didn't know, most NFT projects actually use a combination of Filecoin and Arweave to store their metadata. So when you buy an NFT, you're buying the token, but the token links to some sort of metadata, usually a JPEG. So that JPEG is stored on IPFS. You've probably heard of IPFS, which is Filecoin system, but it also uses Arweave as well. Now, as I said, Filecoin has a fully diluted valuation of $9 billion, whereas Arweave's valuation $300 million. So Filecoin's normal market cap is 1.7 billion, and Arweave is 300 million. So massive price disparity there. But then when you also include the fully diluted valuation of Filecoin, it's almost 9 billion. So what's that, like a 30 times difference? And you kind of need both of them if you want to store your data in a decentralized manner. So even though I think Render is an amazing project, I just don't think it has kind of risk to reward potential that I like. It doesn't have the kind of upside potential that I like to invest in. Arweave seems a little bit lower risk, a lower market cap as well, which is why I put a little bit of money into Arweave at these prices. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I don't get too much hate from the Render community in the comments, but so be it. If I do, I have to give you my honest opinion. So thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one. Cheers.